Assalamu alaikum. How are you, my dear friends? My name is Abdul Khalik. Dear friend, look. Dear friends, we are struggling, striving to achieve something, to become something. And that is really nice and that is really very much natural, my dear friends, because I want to prove my worth. Not only that I want to prove my worth, everyone else want to prove their worth as well. It is really important for us. Not only that we want to become a successful person, we want to achieve something, rather we want to be something. What is the reason? What is the purpose behind it? The reason is that we want to be considered as somebody who is successful enough, as somebody who is good enough. We want to be liked by the people. We want to be given some sort of importance by the people. But my dear friends and fellows, look upon certain other things as well. What are these? Why we want to be considered as an important person? There is something which is called self esteem. There is something which is called the self worth. I think for a human being, nothing is more important than this thing. Whatever we are trying to do, the real reason, and the ultimate purpose behind that achievement, behind that doing will be one thing, and that one thing is called self esteem. Self esteem is very important. Self esteem can also be called self worth. It can also be called self respect. I think if at all, it is also called a kind of very good self image. Self image matters a lot, and maybe matters everything else for a human being, for a person. So this is the reason that the people are seen making sacrifices, that the people are seen enduring so much of the pain. So dear friend, the self esteem means confidence in one's abilities and one's worth. Confidence in one's abilities and one's worth. So that thing is called self esteem. I think self esteem is more important for us than anything else. And today we have made it a topic of our today's discussion, how to be able to achieve the self esteem. Because unless and until we do have the self esteem, we can never call ourselves a successful person. And even if at all we are a billionaire, even if at all we have achieved so much of the high social status, but if at all the self esteem is lacking, it actually means the person is not having anything else at all. So dear friend, what are the ways, what are the ways to gain the self esteem? There are 6 ways which have been enlisted here as far our today's talk is concerned. So first of all, it is the having non-negotiables. We need to enlist, we need to put it on paper in our mind. What are my non-negotiables? What are the things I shall not like to negotiate at all? I don't want to discuss it openly. I don't have to make any kind of modification in that. So that is called the non-negotiable. We need to figure out, we need to find out, we need to identify that in my case, what are in my case, what are the my non-negotiables. And these non-negotiables, if at all we are putting it in front of the people, or we are telling it either by verbal communication or by any other way, that these are the red lines, these are the non-negotiables. But in ourselves we need to think well, in ourselves we need to consider it again, we need to reflect upon it, whether it should be a non-negotiable or it is not worth it. So that is the number one thing, if at all we are going to talk about the self esteem. Now the second thing is committing to promises you make to yourself, committing to promises you make to yourself. Now, dear friend, we need to know that unless and until we are keeping, upholding, fulfilling the promises we do make with ourselves, it means that we do have a kind of self control. Our control is in our own hands, and we are not drifting because of the impulses, because of the circumstances, because of the situation. Rather, we do have the willpower to somehow to be able to keep the promises we do make with ourselves. Suppose that I take a decision that I am not going to eat this thing because of the health reason. So if at all I don't make keep the promise which I made with myself, what it mean that I will be eating those things which I should not have been eating. Now this thing will be definitely spoiling my health, like it could be the smoking, it could be any other type of addiction. And let me tell you that if a person fails to keep the promises which they make themselves with themselves, I think that will be an absolutely disastrous. So it must not happen at all. We should be developing our willpower. We need to develop our willpower so that we are better able to keep the promises we do make with ourselves. So the third thing, as far this the third thing, as far this self esteem is concerned, we need to stand on our truth. We standing on your truth. What is this? That means that facing the resistance, the pressure, but not bowing down, not giving up, and standing on your truth and not bowing down to the pressure, to the resistance. Rather, face it and listen to your inner voice, listen to your intuition, not swayed away by the expectations of other people, by the pressure of the other people. Rather, standing, resisting, and facing the pressure, it will make us much stronger person. And not only this thing, it will develop the self esteem in we ourselves. I think we should be unapologetically ourselves. We should be unapologetically ourselves. So my dear friend, now the fourth is finding your voice. Finding your voice. Where is my what is what my intuition says, what my inner voice says, what my deep inside says. And that is something which cannot be abandoned at all. Now the fifth item is discovering your core needs, your core wants, your passions. What are my genuine needs, what are my passions, my interests, my hobbies, and above all, what are my passions. I cannot afford to ignore, cannot afford to abandon my hobbies, my interests, my passions, my wants. My passions mean my life. So finding your discover your wants and needs. And the sixth is traveling if possible. I think teaches us a lot traveling teaches us a lot. I think that we need to travel. One thing is the migration and migrating to a better place, which is so good. But at the same time, there are certain other things which is called the traveling matters, and matters a lot. It teaches us so much which we cannot learn otherwise. So never fail to travel if at all you are able to do that. That is why so many of the westerners, they are seen traveling from one country to another, from one place to another. So the traveling matters a lot to us, really. Thank you.